my question is, so before we start it, I need you to do a favor for me. I want to know more about you.
Okay,
So,
that's fair.
so the
I think
question.
that's fair. So I think the biggest change of my life in the year, is like I just entered in university because it's a new way of living. I just left my parents' house and for living on my own in a house share flat with a roommate. And for the moment, everything is okay with them. And yeah, as I said, it's a new way of living because I'm living my own life without the help of my parents on some points. Like I'm doing my own shopping, grocery shopping. To be honest, at the beginning, it was really hard for me because I wasn't used to like living alone and having my own independence. And I guess it is something that you have to like when you get used to it. It is really grateful and really really fun actually, because you can do whatever you want whenever you want, and like nobody can say to you, oh no, you can do that, blah 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 blah. So it's really cool. And yeah, moreover, I recently got a job.
Oh, you
So
in a restaurant, right? The cafeteria.
yes, in a restaurant cafeteria, and so it's helping me to get independence with the money, and yeah, for my parents, they're still there for me.
You also call your parents from time to time, like how many times a week or a month?
I try to call them like one a week, one time a week, and yes, so that's for the call. But texting, I try to text them like every day.
Every day.
But someday I just forget to do so. So my mother gets mad sometimes, but but never mind.
Why, Tom? Why didn't you call me this week?
Yeah.
My biggest transformation is that I feel like the grateful inside me all the time. This is my mom teaching. So my mom always say that I have to be grateful. I'm not grateful enough, and I don't want it to listen about this because I'm like, but you don't understand my life, blah 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 blah. You know, it's very annoying, but you're right. It's when I started to be grateful for everything every day, things good come to me. I was frustrated, and because of frustration, things doesn't come to me. Because you know, like people always try to have more in life. They feel frustrated, they want more. And this can be very frustrated because you never have about the present moment. But being grateful and live the present change everything. So I'm happy now, I don't have to be happy later. I think first thing the first step, I think, is to look at what you have now. The good things. And be grateful about this already. So it can be basic things, like I have shelter, I have food, I have loved ones around me. Things like this, you know, you start with the basics, and then you feel that, oh, I also can be grateful for that and that and that and that. And then you try to be grateful. You feel better what's worth to you and your values. And then when you leave something very great, you can fully thanks this thing, you know.
So, on a scale of 0 to 10, how will you score the gratefulness you have right now?
Oh wait, there's no scale.
No
It's
scale.
just for everything. It's It's just even small things you have to feel. Say no ratings. Yeah.
Next time we talk about lots about me, right? So today I want to know more about you.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
so the question.
I think that's fair. Ooh, this year.
Yeah.
This year, I think the biggest one was the transition from working a full-time job to becoming a full-time digital nomad and starting to travel full-time with only online income. So that would be like the accomplishment that I'm most proud of. When I hear transformation, I hear something more of a mental, like a mindset shift or a perception shift, or like something that changed about me, like not in the outside, like or how I live my life, but like about me, right? So I would say probably my social anxiety, because I've been working on this for the past 9 years.
9 years.
But this year I made the most progress ever. Recently I just did 3 hugs in public and even on the highest point in Thailand recently. So definitely like pushed my social anxiety and my confidence to a whole another level.
I have a question.
Yes, you don't have to raise your hand.
Can you describe what exactly is your social anxiety? Like for example, like what?
Okay, so when I say social anxiety, like what I mean underneath it is usually fear of rejection, fear of being judged, and fear of being, I guess, alienated or like rejected, left alone,
So like
judged.
and how do you aware in like that kind of social anxiety?
What triggered me to want to change? Well, it was long time ago that like started my change, and it was it's how would you call this emotion? Like the desperation maybe, like being so emotionally low that like I was thinking I either change or I'm probably gonna end up killing myself, or I'm probably gonna end up hurting myself. And I didn't want that, of course, right? I wanted to live. So that decision of like being so desperate and really feeling so bad about it, that like I really need to change now, or otherwise I'm gonna end up very, very, very bad. So that was the trigger for me when I was 13, and that's why I googled how to be happy, and that's why I started doing all the things that I started doing, getting up at 5 a.m. and going for a run, and then starting to talk to people on the buses, to like overcome that social anxiety and build confidence. So yeah, I would say that like hitting rock bottom, yeah, that can be like a good word for it, rock bottom. I understood better and better and better, and I was like, wait, like there's actually no reason for me like to not go for the biggest dreams that I had, because I already overcame so much, and 2 years ago it seemed impossible for me to speak to girls on the bus, and now I'm doing it. So now it seems impossible for me to travel the world or climb a crane or like do things like this. But the fact that it seems impossible now doesn't mean that it's not going to be possible in the future. And if I work on it,
Yeah, exactly.
I can do it. So it started as I didn't want to hate myself anymore, and it transformed into what else can I do? Like what like how high or how big can I dream and then actually accomplish it? And I think there is no, like right now, I think there is basically no limit. Like, whatever you want to do, like if you work on it, if you focus on it, if you put the work in, you can just do it.
0 to 10, how will you rate your social anxiety right now?
0 to
10.
0 to 10.
Yeah.
I would say 3.
3.
3 or 4. 3 or 4. In between 3 and 4. Yeah.
How will you rate in the past?
In the past, when I was 12, 13, I would say 9, 9.5.
These people are my transformation. So here's my story. In January, when I got back from my solo trip in Europe, I still had that kind of excitement to meet people, to have some connection with people around the world. So I started my podcast. That's one of the reasons why I started my podcast. Another reasons are many of my friends, they ask my stories, and even one of them asked me if I would write blog. So I started to think, yeah, maybe I should record my journey. And one day, as usual, I couldn't fall asleep because I drank coffee, so I stayed up so late, and which is usually a good time for me to brainstorm. So I was listening to the Mother-in-Law podcast, and the episode is talking about the emotion under a specific cultural context, and I was touched by the story, and I really loved the warm feeling the podcast gave me. So I started thinking, yeah, I want to create my warm environment too. So that's how my travel story and podcast are combined together. Okay, so go back to the main topic. Now it's December, and I look back to what I did this year, and I suddenly aware that I actually fulfilled the desire to meet people at the beginning of this year. Because in addition to my podcast, I also practice my French a lot on Hello Talk, and I join lots of Facebook groups. So that's how I have some connections with people. And what's more surprisingly is some of the connection happens because I reach out to people, which is a thing I wouldn't expect years ago, because back to that time, I think before doing so, I might have many drama on my mind, but yeah, now I'm pretty comfortable to do that. I think that's the mindset change, because now I think that I just want to talk, and I have good intentions, so why not I reaching out to people? And if people don't respond well, I will think that's totally fine, because we are not compatible. So I just let it be. It's nothing big deal. I'm so comfortable reaching out to people right now.
And it's one of my personal growth from travel.
My name is Jessie Chen. I'm 24 years old, and I'm from Taiwan.
My name is Ondra. I'm 22 years old, and I'm originally from the Czech Republic.
My name is Christopher Robert. I'm 29 years old, and I'm from France.
My name is Tom Partouche. I'm 18 years old and I'm from France.